what if? What if the key to unlocking your deepest energy, maybe reconnecting with your true self, was actually hidden in plain sight, like
Right.
right there at the base of your skull?
Hmm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something called the Nape Point. This powerful but often, overlooked energy gateway at the back of your neck.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Our mission really is to figure out why ancient mystics, healers across centuries, why they revered this spot so much. And maybe more interestingly, how modern science is finally starting to, well, catch up.
It's a really fascinating convergence, isn't it? Because our sources, they're not just ancient texts or modern papers looked at separately.
Right.
It's more like a synthesis. It shows how this knowledge, which was often passed down pretty quietly, is way more than just like spiritual folklore.
Okay.
It's actually, a practical tool for transformation.
Absolutely. So our goal for this deep dive, it's kind of threefold. First, we'll explore its significance historically, looking across different spiritual traditions. Then we'll get into the emerging science, what's starting to explain why it might be so potent.
Yeah, the mechanics behind it, sort of.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, we want to give you some tangible, practical ways you can activate this point for presence, clarity, healing, in your actual everyday life.
Because it's not just a spot on your neck.
No. The sources, they describe it as a gateway between worlds, even a threshold to expanded awareness, and yeah, a tool for profound transformation. It's quite a claim.
It is. Big claims.
So let's start digging into that history.
Right.
Where do we first see this idea, this Nape Point show up? Our sources suggest that, way before we saw the body as just mechanics.
Right, like a machine.
Yeah, exactly. Ancient cultures saw it more like a sacred map, maybe, encoded with spiritual passages. So where did this understanding of the nape, this occipital bone area, where did it really begin?
It's pretty striking how universal it seems to be. You look at cultures as diverse as, say, ancient Egypt, Tibet, India.
Wow.
This specific point was revered, seen as this powerful, energetic crossroads, a place where you could access, like, deeper awareness.
So say Egypt, for instance.
Yeah, take Egyptian mysticism. There are these ancient papyri, apparently often overlooked, which describe initiates at the Temple of Karnak, and they reference the Eye of the Nape.
The Eye of the Nape. Interesting term.
Isn't it? And what's really insightful there is their belief that activating this spot was crucial for something they called dream incubation.
Dream incubation. What does that mean exactly?
It suggested a specific practice, right, intentional, for accessing altered states of consciousness, maybe to reconnect with the soul's original vision, is how some sources put it.
That's a powerful claim. Visions and altered states. Do the sources say more about what kind of experiences these were? Were they always, positive? Or did it need careful guidance? It sounds pretty intense.
That's a good point. And yes, the sources do emphasize that. While profound, these experiences often happen within sacred contexts with guidance to ensure integration. The point wasn't just to see things, but to understand them, integrate them. And this wasn't just Egypt either.
Right.
In Chinese medicine, this same area corresponds to the Fang Fu point. It translates often as Palace of Wind.
Palace of Wind.
Yeah. And stimulating it was believed to release trapped energies, restore the natural flow of Kak, life force.
Okay.
But for Taoists, it went even deeper. Some texts describe it poetically as a back door to heaven, a direct link between the earthly self and universal consciousness.
A back door to heaven. That's such a vivid image. And connecting this maybe to Indian Tantric Yoga, how does the Nape Point fit into their view of energy and consciousness?
Yeah, if we look at the bigger picture in Tantric Yoga, the nape is often associated with the union of the throat chakra, Vishuddha,
Okay, Vishuddha.
and the Bindu, which is this subtle energy point, sometimes linked to the crown or third eye. It's said to hold the very essence of divine consciousness, like the seed of creation. So awakening this spot, according to these traditions, was thought to release a kind of nectar-like essence, leading to states of profound bliss, oneness. It's really quite remarkable how one anatomical spot could hold such, diverse but also harmonizing spiritual meaning across continents.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it, about what else our bodies might be capable of that maybe we've just forgotten.
Exactly.
So given these powerful claims, this sort of universal recognition, why was this wisdom often kept quiet? Almost secret in some traditions? Was it just too powerful for, the uninitiated?
That's a really important question, and the sources address it directly.
Hmm.
This wisdom, it seems, was never meant to be just intellectual knowledge. The ancients understood that the body's deeper doors, they only open from within, through direct embodied experience.
Okay, so not just reading about it.
Right. The Nape Point wasn't just a technique to learn. It was more like an inner ritual, a quiet call from your own energy, waiting to be remembered, to be felt. It implies this kind of sacred geometry within the body that you activate through conscious presence, not just mental understanding.
Okay, so while the ancients talked about divine connections, sacred gateways,
Mhm.
is there anything in modern neurobiology or anatomy that even hints at the kind of influence these traditions described? How does the ancient wisdom line up with science today?
And this is where our sources get into some really fascinating modern research.
Hmm.
That area, base of the skull where the brainstem meets the spinal cord, it's a hub of critical neurological activity.
Okay.
It's closely linked to the autonomic nervous system, the body's control center for all the unconscious stuff.
Right. Breathing, heart rate.
Exactly. And the brainstem itself, which regulates everything from balance and awareness to our fundamental sensory perception. And what's really standing out in some emerging neuroscience, our materials highlight this, is that gentle, mindful stimulation of this specific suboccipital region can actually change brainwave patterns.
Really? How so?
For instance, some studies have shown a statistically significant increase in theta waves.
Theta waves. Those are linked to deep meditation, right? REM sleep.
Precisely. Deep meditation, REM sleep,
Uh,
profound creativity.
What?
And applying specific gentle pressure right there seems to trigger them, which, you have to admit, directly mirrors that expanded awareness and awakening language from the ancient texts.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. Our sources explain the Nape Point as a kind of crossroads where three major pathways converge. First, there's the spinal cord channel, or sushumna in tantric texts,
The central channel.
described as the main energy conduit running parallel to the spine, believed to be the primary path for kundalini ascent, that coiled, dormant spiritual energy.
Exactly. That's pathway one, energetically speaking. Then, neurologically, there's the medulla oblongata.
Which we mentioned, the vital part of the brainstem controlling automatic functions.
Right. It acts as a primary relay station for information flowing between the brain and the body. Hugely important.
Okay. And the third?
And third, what some traditions conceptualize as the human biofield, the body's subtle electromagnetic or, energetic field. Now, this is a concept still under scientific exploration, kind of nascent, in fields like bioelectromagnetics.
Still emerging science there.
Definitely. But the idea is these three pathways, energetic, neurological, and this subtle field, they all intersect right there.
So if you touch this spot with awareness, you're not just touching skin, you're gently engaging with this profound intersection.
Exactly. It's like tuning a really finely calibrated instrument, maybe allowing its own resonant frequencies to align.
And the good news is, activating it is surprisingly simple, but impactful.
It truly is. So here's how you can start. First, you got to find the spot. It's right at the base of your skull where it meets your neck. Often there's a slight little dent or indentation there.
Okay, got it.
Then use a gentle touch. You could use your index and middle fingers together, maybe the soft pad of your thumb if you want slightly firmer pressure.
Yeah.
But the key is soft, gentle, like you're knocking really politely on an inner door. With reverence.
Okay. And then?
Then just breathe and focus. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, deeply, and really try to let go of expectations. Just feel whatever arises. Don't force anything.
And what might you experience physically?
Physically, you might notice some warmth, perhaps a subtle tingling, or a gentle pressure that kind of spreads. Some people report a subtle vibration, or that profound sense of unlocking, maybe in the head or neck.
And mentally?
Mentally, often the mind just naturally calms down.
Right.
A wider sense of awareness can emerge, almost like your internal landscape is expanding a bit. And what's really remarkable is how the logical side and the intuitive side of the brain often seem to start harmonizing, which can spark unexpected creativity, maybe some insights.
Okay. And energetically?
Energetically, people often report a sense of deep presence, alignment, like your energy is being subtly reorganized, awakened from within. This spot also has a strong connection to proprioception.
Proprioception, that's your body's sense of where it is in space.
Exactly. So activating it can really deepen your embodied awareness.
Yeah.
Make you feel more in your body.
So what does this all mean for maybe the deeper journey? Opening the Nape Point isn't just about feeling good or accessing higher states.
No, our sources suggest it's also about shining a light on hidden parts of yourself. As this energy begins to flow more freely, old memories, emotions, even really deeply ingrained patterns might gently surface.
Okay, so it's not always blissful then.
Not necessarily immediately blissful, no. It's described more as a natural cleansing process, like clearing out accumulated silt from a hidden spring,
Hmm.
you know, allowing the pure natural flow to emerge eventually.
That makes sense, like clearing clutter.
Exactly. And what's truly fascinating is that with this activation, your senses might sharpen. Time might feel like it's slowing down a bit. You could become more sensitive to subtle feelings, maybe the energies of others around you.
Wow.
Some people even report intuitive insights, vivid visions, or, yeah, even a sense of precognition sometimes. And yes, emotional release is common. Old traumas, forgotten memories might bubble up, but it offers this profound chance for healing and integration. It's a gentle unfolding, but it can be powerful.
Gentle but powerful. So it sounds like mindful practice is key. With great power comes great responsibility, even with something seemingly simple.
Absolutely. The Nape Point seems to amplify your intention and focus. So yes, it can be a source of incredible strength, alignment, but it does require mindful practice and integration.
How do you integrate?
Well, the recommendation from our sources is really to combine this activation with stillness, deep breathing, and reflection. Journaling, for instance, can be an excellent way to process the insights or emotions that come up. It helps ground these experiences in your daily life.
Okay, so knowing about it is one thing, but weaving it into daily life is where the transformation happens.
That's the core message.
And our sources offer some simple, practical ways. 5 ways, actually. First, a morning ritual. Begin your day with a gentle touch at the nape. Like before you even fully open your eyes, bring your hands there, breathe deeply, press lightly. It's a small act, but it aligns your energy, calms the nervous system, really sets a conscious tone for the day.
Yeah, I like that. And you can also reconnect throughout the day. Maybe set a quiet reminder 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, night,
Just for a minute.
just for a minute. Bring your attention to the nape point. Breathe,
Mm.
press gently, and just notice how your energy shifts.
Yeah.
It's like this simple practice anchors you in the present. Doesn't matter what chaos is going on around you. Finding that quiet eye in the storm.
Nice. And another one, before meditation or any kind of creative work, touching the nape point then.
Yeah, like ringing a silent bell inside.
Yeah.
Clearing distractions, deepening focus. The sources suggest this gesture helps organize your energy, invites a flow state, aligns your actions with your, true creative self.
Okay, and what about difficult emotions? Can it help there?
Definitely. What's striking here is its potential as emotional medicine, sort of. When you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, sad, stuck, use the nape point as a quiet healer.
How?
Just approach your emotions gently. Press the spot with kindness. This subtle action, likely by influencing the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic system which run through this area.
Oh, the calming system.
Exactly. It helps balance your inner energy, allows feelings to flow and process rather than getting suppressed or stuck.
That's huge. Okay, and the last one, sleep.
Yeah, thinking of sleep not just as rest, but as a doorway, a deeper connection. Before you drift off, give your nape that final gentle touch as you breathe slowly.
And what might happen?
Our sources suggest this can transform restless nights into deeper, more restorative sleep. Maybe even open doors to lucid dreams, unexpected insights, profound healing from within. Sleep becomes this powerful connection to your inner world.
Wow. It really positions sleep differently.
It does. Ultimately, touching the nape point isn't some trick, or a trend. It's fundamental. It's a reminder, a way to come home to your original energy, that deep knowing that you are connected to everything. Each time you practice, you're subtly telling yourself, okay, I'm not lost, I'm coming home. It's really about presence, humility, and just being willing to listen to your body's own profound wisdom. The most sacred place isn't far away, it's right here, base to your skull.
So just to recap then, the Nape Point, it's way more than just a mystical idea. It sounds like a really practical tool for transformation, a bridge maybe between that ancient wisdom and what science is starting to understand.
Yeah, like the ancients had a shortcut to clarity long before we had coffee.
Right. And by integrating this simple practice into your daily routine, you can potentially awaken dormant energy, find more clarity, gently return to your center.
The body remembers. That's a key theme in the sources. Touching the Nape Point is this powerful yet gentle reminder, a way to come home to your original energy, that deep knowing of connection.
But it does raise this really profound question, doesn't it? If it's so powerful, so accessible, why has this wisdom faded so much in modern times? Why aren't we all taught this?
That's the million-dollar question. And our sources offer a perspective. They suggest it's because we've largely been taught to think with the mind, but not really to feel with the body.
Mm.
To collect facts, but maybe neglect wisdom. To constantly look outward, forgetting that maybe the most potent door was always inside us.
It's true, isn't it? You think about it. The most profound changes, they often start with the smallest gestures. A gentle touch, like this. A mindful breath, just a simple moment of presence. Maybe these are the keys to unlocking that hidden door within.
Beautifully put.
So we really just invite you, the listener, to embrace this journey, to try it, to touch with awareness, breathe with presence, and just let your body guide you back home. The journey is yours, after all, and apparently the door has always been waiting.